Okay, welcome back to day 259. My sound was turned down because I turned it down for my video game last time I was here. So, there's a big conversation going around what accent. The detective was, I think, I don't know what his name was, in Knives Out. Good movie. Go watch it. Go watch it. It's good. But not the point. Point is, there's a what accent is he doing debacle of like what accent. And a lot of people couldn't figure it out. I hope a hair didn't just fall on my soda. Well, here we are. Anyways, point is what accent he was doing. So what happened was, a lot of people were saying a bunch of different accents, blah blah, and I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like a particular accent, but I can't be able to place it. And someone goes, it is the same voice actor for Foghorn Leghorn. And I'm like, who the hell is Foghorn Leghorn? And it's like this chicken. I'm like, I don't know what that chicken sounds like. And I kind of remembered the repeating-ish sound, so I looked him up. People were like, he's doing a Central Virginian accent. And I'm like, Central Virginian accent? That's near sheer enough that I'm like, okay, let me hear it. And let me tell you, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was the accent here, because obviously I'm not in Central Virginia, but my sibling was like, I think more of a, well, before that, they thought the detective was doing a Kentucky accent, which is kind of close to Virginia. So I think it must be that, because she's like, is it not, my sister, is it not the classic, like, Kentucky Fried Chicken accent? And so I'm like, is it this, like, Virginia, like, Kentucky, like, they're all on the same, like, line, right? Question mark? I think. So it's like, is it this, like, weird Central East Coast accent? And I'm like, so it was very funny to watch this cartoon and hearing this chicken, well, rooster, saying these lines where I'm just like, a little bit south of here, you drive a little bit, you definitely find a guy that talks exactly like this chicken. And I'm like, and then we go and we realize the original voice actor for the chicken has the last name as the detective. So I'm like, is the original voice actor is doing this voice and the detective has the same last name? Is it a coincidence, or did they really write this character with this chicken in mind? Because a lot of people bash this accent, being like, this isn't a real accent, the detective. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't think anything of it, like the actual accent. So if he was trying to voice like the chicken, yeah, I mean, not the repetitiveness. I don't think the detective has that repetitiveness, but like I said, but I'm just like, I wonder. That maybe sounded more Tennessee, but that's not the point in my head, at least. That's not the point. Point is that chicken is very funny to me because I don't know if any really watched anything of him. I watched The Nanny growing up, okay? That's that. You got Dragon Tales, Dora, The Nanny. Boom, there you go. That's your kids' lineup of TV. Anyways, point is that a lot of people bash the actor for doing a weird accent, but yeah, maybe it was a little strained and probably have a little faults in it. I haven't watched Knives Out since the first time I watched it a while ago, but it lines up. I could, in my head, I can hear the detective or the chicken or whatever kind of mix match in their voice lines. So clearly they have to be kind of close-ish. So I guess the Central East Coast accent is what the detective was doing, and I know enough people around here with that accent that I didn't think anything of it. So a lot of people were bashing him, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't think anything odd about it. But it's really funny to me that I'm like, yeah. Wonder if I got, when I scratched my head, if I got a hair in my soda. I don't think so. I think I would be able to tell. But I'm probably going to shine a light on it just to be sure before I drink it. So I don't drink a hair. Okay. Given I have never watched it. I've never watched it, never read it, never did anything. But my sibling decided to watch Booga no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia, or whatever. Yeah. Boku no My Hero Academia, where they have magic powers. A lot of people do. Like 75% of people have magic powers, or superpowers. But All Might, spoilers, question mark, I don't know how early, I think this happens pretty early. All Might's power can be transferred, or part of it. He still has powers, but he can give power to another person if they eat some of his DNA. Here's the thing, if he gave a piece of hair with the DNA to someone. Hair itself doesn't have DNA, it's a root, but that's not the point. So apparently he did that, and the guy drank it and he got magic powers. But what about other things? Has he accidentally ever given someone magic powers? Is that how he figured it out? Because how do you figure that out? I only can think of one way that accidentally that happens. You know what I'm saying? I accidentally baked something for someone, got my DNA, like skin or something in it. Gross. But, okay, possible. 2, he's a guy. 3, I don't know how else you would have done that. How else would you have had that accidentally happen? So how did he figure it out? And then it's now that he knows, can he only certain people like sleep with people that does already have magic powers, not part of the 75% that doesn't? Because what he does as a non-magic girlfriend and or boyfriend, I know a lot of people ship him with that other guy. And I don't know what his other guy's name is, but I know they ship him. Also, was really confused for a very long time what All Might looked like. Fun fact. I was very confused. But anyway, the point is that what if they just show up one day with powers? His partner just shows up with powers one day and you're like, And he just like, I made pancakes and cut myself and apparently some of my DNA got in there. It's like fair. Or so are we just not going to discuss that? Or because how many times does that actually happen before he has to figure out why it happened? That it's DNA. That like what how did you figure that out? I think that's a lot of things where the X-Men really talk about, where they just know they have these powers because they have to control it more than figure it out, versus in the Umbrella Academy where Klaus talks about what if you have powers, you have to release those powers and you have to figure out that you can do that, versus the opposite where accidentally doing all these powers and then have to rein them in. It's the opposite. You have to figure them out for him. And I think that's a really interesting thing that you have to just figure it out. So I assume with that kind of thing, they had to figure it out. He had to figure out that he can transfer for give powers to people, and how. So, must be, and how much? Do you have to give a lot? I thought it was a strand of hair, but I guess maybe maybe I misheard, or maybe it's true. It's just one strand of hair is enough. I don't know. But how do you figure that out? What else? Anyway, the point is, the chicken was really funny with the cartoon, with being such an accent that we know. That was very funny because my siblings like, there's no way that's Central Virginian. We would know it. We would know it's Central Virginian. I know what that chicken sounds like. I click play. She's like, never mind. That's true. That's oh, that reminds me of one of my favorite videos, and it's so funny, where there's maybe 3 or 4 guys in the video, and they are from Baltimore, I believe, Baltimore, and they said to say the sentence, Aaron earned an iron urn, and it's funny because I'm not from Baltimore, but obviously, or not obviously, I did talk to people in Baltimore before. It's a kind of, not a lot, but quite a few times. And what happened was that when they were doing it, it just didn't sound like Aaron earned an iron urn. It was just Aaron earned an iron urn. It was kind of not very enunciating on the vowels, I guess. And it was one of my favorite ones because the guy walks up, like the second one walks up, and the first guy is really good at pronunciating, correct word, pronouncing out, really emphasizing each vowel when he does it the second time. But everyone else was like, yeah, dude, that makes sense. And the second guy said it, and that one was the one that I most didn't understand. It was like a second guy who would said it like that and goes, duh, of course. And I'm just like, what? And it's so funny because like if I heard them say just one of them, not in a full sentence, but it said like iron or earn or Aaron, I would have been like, yeah, I understand. So it's not the point where it would have not made sense. So it's really funny because I wonder if I heard a sentence but in an accent I don't know at all, like almost at all, would I be able to understand anything they said? Like, I forgot, a Minnesotan, or different kind of southern, like I know central-ish accents, maybe central north, but not north, but right there, versus Maine, you know, all the way up there, or Florida all the way down there, New Orleans, which is, again, it's a little different because it's a little French, right? I think even still kind of hold over, very French influences at least, and different other things like culturally French. And it's interesting because the houses, I think some of them look very Spanish because the French houses would burn down, but the French or the Spanish houses wouldn't because they were built different. They were just built different. So some of the really old houses actually aren't French, but they're Spanish designs, but in a French layout of the town, which was very interesting. But that's not. But then also a lot of like the fleur-de-lis? What is that little thingy called? That's very French. Interesting, very interesting history of New Orleans that a lot of towns in the United States don't have. Very interesting. Highly recommend. I went there, but I got told by a lady all the history. Very interesting. I loved it. Anyways, point was, what was the point? A lot of maybe a really southern but more West accent. Maybe West accents in general I wouldn't understand, but I wonder, because it is a little different, but even English speaking, like other accents, like German or French, Spanish, like Spain Spanish versus Central America Spanish versus different things. I wonder if I would be able to understand it, but then when they do like a tongue twister like that, if I wouldn't understand it even more, but like not be able to differentiate anything in this sentence. But that was one of my favorite videos, and it was so funny to me with Aaron earned an iron earn, and then but yeah, with chicken being Central Virginia, it was very funny to me. That now all I can think about is the chicken. It's like I said it can, like I don't, doesn't, what is the saying, like it doesn't make sense, but it compels me. It's just like now I just think of the chicken rooster saying that. It's so funny to me because it's funny. Because the chicken will be like I said sounds very Elvis, which is very Tennessee, but he repeats himself, but I can't remember what at the beginning of the sentence what he says. My cat wants one, but I'm so close to the end of it. Okay. Good news. I didn't drop a hair in it. But yeah, what does the chicken say when he starts a sentence? The line that really killed me was, it said, there's so much snow on the ground, they have to, like, lift up the cows to milk them, but I love, winter, or whatever. And it was just so funny because the way he said it, God, I wish I remembered, the way he said it, I'm like, I could go to a grocery store and hear that very close to here. So, yeah, nailed it. Central Virginia accent. Again, not from there, but I'm close enough that people, you know, mix in. So not everyone sounds like that, but I bet you I could find a guy that sounds exactly like that and says, like, key phrases and sayings exactly like that guy.